Funerals have been held in Lebanon for some of those killed in heavy fighting in the capital Beirut on Thursday.Seven were killed, and dozens injured when gunfire broke out during a protest by Shia Muslim groups against the judge investigating last year's huge blast at the city's port. Hezbollah, which organized the protest, said demonstrators were fired on by gunmen on rooftops. They blamed a Christian faction, although the group denies the charge. Huge tension surrounds the inquiry into the port explosion that killed 219 people in August 2020. Swathes of the city were devastated by the blast, but no one has yet been held accountable. Hezbollah and its allies have said the investigating judge is biased, but the victims' families support his work. The protest began outside the Palace of Justice, the main court building, with hundreds of people arguing the investigation had become politicized and demanding the removal of Judge Tarek Beitar. It then quickly escalated. Heavy gunfire erupted in the streets as the crowd passed through a roundabout in the central Badaro area.
Local residents had to flee their homes as men armed with automatic rifles and rocket-propelled grenade launchers, believed to have been members of Shia and Christian militias, exchanged fire in the streets. At a nearby school, teachers instructed young children to lie face down on the ground with their hands on their heads, a witness told Reuters news agency. The clashes continued for several hours before calm was restored. Hospital and military sources said some of those killed had been shot in the head. They included a woman who was hit by a stray bullet while inside her home. The streets around Tayana are still thickly carpeted with shattered glass after hours of gun and rocket fire. Some families who lived there left their homes last night in case violence flared again. President Aoun said it wasn't acceptable for arms to return as communication between the Lebanese parties. But these divisions run deep. Shia politicians accused the presiding judge Tarek Beitar of bias. But families of those who died in the port blast died back him, saying MPs are trying to evade justice. For now there's an uneasy truce. But all sides are waiting to see what direction the investigation will now take, and whether its outcome might be swayed. Lebanese forces leader Samir Gigi condemned the violence and appealed for calm. The main cause of these developments lies in the presence of uncontrolled and widespread weapons that threaten the citizens at any time and in any place, he tweeted. Mr. Mikati called on everyone to calm down and not be drawn into sedition for any reason whatsoever. The army said it had deployed troops to search for the assailants, and warned that they would shoot at any gunman on the roads. It later said it had arrested 9 people from both sides, including a Syrian. Earlier on Thursday, a court dismissed a legal complaint brought by 2 former government ministers and Amal MPs, Ali Hassan Khalil and Ghazi Zaider, whom Judge Beitar had sought to question on suspicion of negligence in connection with the port explosion. The 2 men, who deny any wrongdoing, accused the judge of bias. Families of the victims had condemned the complaint, which caused the inquiry to be suspended for the second time in 3 weeks. They have accused the country's political leadership of trying to shield itself from scrutiny. Keep your hands off the judiciary, they warned the cabinet on Wednesday after ministers allied to Hezbollah demanded that Judge Beitar be replaced. The port blast last year happened after a fire detonated 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate, a combustible chemical widely used as agricultural fertilizer, that had been stored unsafely in a port warehouse for almost 6 years. Senior officials were aware of the material's existence and the danger it posed, but failed to secure, remove, or destroy it.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.